Hello Coaster friends, it's Adam here from Pause Games and welcome back to another Planet Coaster 2 video. Today we are discussing the second Planet Coaster 2 deep dive. Now I'm not sure if you saw the deep dive or you've seen anything on Twitter, I don't know, but a certain little thing was announced today, something to do with drop tracks or switch track, I don't know, we'll get into it later. But yeah, loads of new stuff has been announced and revealed for Planet Coaster 2. If you go on to enjoy this video, don't forget to give us a like down below and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest switch track and drop track news from Planet Coaster 2. Okay, so let's just jump straight into the video and I'm going to go through my list of things which were announced today alongside switch tracks and drop tracks. Don't know if I mentioned that already. So the first thing, let's talk about pathing. A massive look at pathing was revealed during this deep dive. So Rich and Adam showed us quite a lot of stuff from a new park. An actual new park. We're looking at like that same old park from Gamescom or the trailer. It's a new one. We've got new stuff to look at, guys. Anyway, talking about new things, drop tracks and switch tracks have been announced. Anyway, let's jump back into this. So pathing is the first thing we're going to talk about. So they showed us loads of stuff with pathing. We saw how stamps can snap to path, how easy it is now to change the different types from curve to straight and all that kind of stuff in the line builder. We looked at the custom styles and colours and that you can sort of edit these and change the pattern and change the colours of the patterns as well. You can use the brush to copy and paste styles and patterns from different paths. There's a delete tool, which might sound boring, but you can delete bits of path, which then you can make sort of plazas within plazas and little planting areas, and I don't know, loads of stuff we can use with the delete tool. And a draw tool, which just draws more path over existing path, and it all just works. It all lines up. It all sticks together. It just works. And you know what else works? Drop tracks and switch tracks, which were announced. Anyway, other things we looked at in this deep dive. Pools. They don't. One thing which I kind of assumed would be a thing, but I don't know if it was actually in any of the videos. Pools don't have to be attached to paths. They can just be there in the open, which is good for joining up with bridges, lazy rivers, that sort of thing. So it gives you a bit more flexibility. So that's confirmed. They don't need paths around them, but you do have the option to automatically add paths around, which is all there in the menu and the options on the right hand side, which is loads of stuff. And it's all kind of similar. So all the UI stuff, the paths, the pools, everything's very, very similar. So it should be quite intuitive to build with, really. Other things we saw, vendors, you just pop them on paths, which again is great. It just shows how everything just works now in the new with the new pathing tool. Not going to be any issues with collision and all that kind of lining stuff up, which is a nightmare in Planet Coaster 1. You know what else was a nightmare in Planet Coaster 1? The fact we didn't have switch tracks or drop tracks, but they're in this now. Anyway, so we've talked about that. We saw some new stuff from the aquatic theme. That's quite cool. We saw a different style, a sort of more rustic look at the aquatic. And on this little blueprint they put down, that looks to me like an editable sign. I've not seen any of them yet in this game. That looks like one to me. Now, still not got confirmation because we haven't seen it yet. But I think that's going to be editable signs. But we'll look for confirmation soon. But you know what we do have confirmation for? Switch tracks, drop tracks, they're in the game. Modular flume platforms is the next thing we saw. These can be one square, multiple squares. As in the name, they're modular. You can do as many as you want, little as you want, whatever. These platforms themselves can have multiple slides coming off them. You can choose whether you want a dedicated staircase to come up to the top. Then guests will just split to choose from any of the rides on that platform, or we can just have an entrance up there or build it into the train. So again, lots of options for the slide platforms. And what I do like is that the queue just splits itself up. One queue will just go down all the slides. So it's been really interesting how that works with families, because in Planet Coaster 1 groups of guests came in as groups and went on everything as groups. So it's going to be really interesting what happens with that, whether they just scrap that idea and everyone's separate. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Right, so the other thing they mentioned, we didn't see many of them, but we did talk about new animatronics. They showed a few. There's some singing eels, I think they said, which is in the pipework, which kind of gave me Haunted Mansion, sort of singing bust vibes. They also put down this big fish thing, which is amazing, like a big fish animatronic. And the thing which I liked about this shows that there's now a drop-down option in animatronics that gives you the ability to pick which animation you want it to do. So this is a bit of a game changer if this has also been added in for just standard human animatronics, because that means you can have just one humanoid character and a drop down of like 50 different options. Well, not 50, that'd be silly, but like 5 or 10 different options of like scared or shooting or falling over, I don't know, stuff like that. So you can basically just customize loads of different animatronics in loads of different ways, and if we give us recolorable options as well, it really opens up the flexibility with that. So that's good. I would love to see more of the animatronics down the line, but so far so good with what we've seen. And that moves us on to the new event sequencer, which kind of acts more like a timeline now. And talking about timelines, it's been quite a weird timeline before they announced today that they have got switch tracks and drop tracks in the game. Wow, who knew? So yeah, the new timeline thing is pretty cool, and it looks a lot better than the one in the first game. It looks a lot easier to manage and a lot more visual to sort of play with bits and pieces. So we'll hopefully see a bit more and play with that later down the line, but so far looks great. And then we're going to talk about the scenery brush. So this is pretty cool because not only is it an easy way of just spamming down foliage, it gives us a really easy way of picking a different theme from different biomes, and you can just sort of choose little arrows and choose what you want, whether you want it just rocks or trees or bushes, whatever. And the good thing about this is every single piece that it pastes is an individual item, so it isn't just going to be a mess of trees that is just a one sort of group. Everything that this pastes down is a separate piece, which means it is customizable in terms of its scale and size and placement and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty good and pretty cool, and we like that sort of thing. You know what else we like, that sort of thing? Switch tracks and drop tracks have been announced. Who knew? So the other thing we got from this, which might have been something we already knew actually, but I picked up on it and made note of it. They specifically mentioned that you can only scale non-gridded pieces, which we knew, but they also specifically mentioned non-animated pieces. So animatronics, from the sounds of things, are not going to be scalable, which kind of makes sense. It's a shame, but it does make sense. So yeah, they confirmed that non-grid and non-animated pieces are scalable. So yeah, that's fine. So we looked at the coaster builder very briefly. I mean, nothing too new stood out to me really from this, but I'm not much of a coaster builder in the game anyway, so I'm sure loads of the other coaster nerds will post videos about all the stuff about coasters, so we'll go through the basics, what I wrote down. Optional catwalk was an option that I noticed on the menu, so that's something I don't remember being in the first game. They discussed about the different smoothing options, which there were a lot of, so that hopefully should help, because that was the issue I always had with coasters in the first game. They were terrible. They were so rough and bouncy and all that kind of stuff, so hopefully the new smoothing options will really sort of help build some nice coasters. And yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it out because it looks a lot easier, so we'll see. And I'm sure there was something else about coasters. I can't remember what it was now. Oh yeah, switch tracks and drop tracks. They confirmed it. Yeah, they're in the game. I mean, we kind of knew they were in the game anyway, but yeah, they dropped that little nugget of information in a random voiceover in a deep dive in a live stream. Yep, that's the way they want to market this game. That's up to them. Frontier, you do you. You do you. I'm not judging much. Maybe I'm judging a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, some good information, some interesting bits and pieces. You can probably hear me flicking through my notes in the background. I just want to make sure I've covered everything. But that's the stuff I noticed anyway. I'm sure there's loads of other things that are in there that I missed. Let me know. Have you spotted anything else in the background? Did you see any other, I don't know, nuggets of information or things that I missed? Let me know in the comments. And then we might do another video. I don't know. I'm sure other people cover it. But let me know down below. And if you've enjoyed this video about drop tracks and switch tracks and all that kind of trick tracks, look, we knew they were in the game. We just needed the confirmation, and now we've got it, so we can move on and look forward to playing with them. Hopefully they'll show us playing with them. That sounded weird. Hopefully they'll show us this sort of new drop track stuff in a future video. That'd be really nice. Yeah, hopefully next month, because that's when the next deep dive will be, as far as we're aware, on the it's going to be, the last Wednesday of September is when they do these live streams. But I'm sure there'll be other stuff between now and then, because if I was a betting man, I think this game is going to come out in November. So I feel like we've got quite a lot of information to drop in quite a short space of time. Now, I might be wrong, that's pure rumour, but just looking on the previous release schedule from Frontier, I would guess it's going to be November, but we will see. We'll see. Don't hold me to it. That's going to do us for this video today. If you've enjoyed it, drop us a comment down below, give us a like, and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of the latest Planet Coaster 2 content. We'll cover it all as soon as it's available, and we'll talk about it and let's discuss it down in the comments on Discord or whatever you want. Yeah, I'll find you. Thanks, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.